Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman finally faced the media firing squad in separate events, kind of giving their first public statements since the end of the 2023 Yankee season there. So we'll kind of just go into each what they each had to say, a couple of interesting points from each. And of course, obviously they weren't satisfied with the season, but, Cashman a little bit more of the defiant of the two, and Steinbrenner very just like, hey, sorry, we're going to go all in for that. So we'll kind of get into all that stuff. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Section 420, Talkin Yankees. We've got the rest of off season to go, got a lot of stuff to cover, so you don't want to skip a beat there, so make sure you get future episodes, and you want to check over to YouTube as well. Go over to YouTube, Section 420 Talkin Yankees there, just dropped the latest video yesterday, so you want to make sure you get there, kind of go over a little bit with the Anthony Volpe Gold Glove, but also get into the Zealous Analytics, which is the firm that Steinbrenner hired to help the Yankees kind of figure out what they could be doing better there, so kind of give the tail of the tape on that firm. So if you want to go there, YouTube, check it out, get the backdrop on Zealous, and you're all covered. So they finally made their kind of public statements. They kind of been tight-lipped since the end of the season, which ended major disappointment, 82-80. Didn't qualify for the playoffs, and pretty much out of it most of the way. And the only kind of blip of happiness was that 1 week when they brought up Dominguez and Wells, and they got you a little excited for a little bit. Thought maybe they could make a little September rush there, but then of course Dominguez has to go down with Tommy John surgery, and then you can just throw the whole thing out the window there. So again, just a terrible season across the board there. So Steinbrenner wasn't really a Q&A with reporters. It was basically a Zoom call. Looks like it was from the Tampa office there. And again, he just pretty much said there was really nothing to take away from the season. That was good, the positive. Again, no playoffs, no playoff victories, no nothing. Nothing to really be proud of, and kind of mentioned that pretty much all options are on the table for 2024. So whether that's spending money on players, breaking the bank, whatever they got to do there, it seems like that's the focus going to be, kind of, again, all options on the table to rectify the situation for 2024. Didn't get anything of that, but did kind of, I would say the most interesting part of his thing was the fact that Boone mentioned that, the Yankees need to get more into bunting, as well as, when they're developing the younger players, get them to practice bunting more. The Yankees were 23rd in the league in bunting this past season, and it's something that not only the Yankees but a lot of teams have gotten away from it. It's part of the small ball, I think, because everyone's just kind of getting crazy with the Oakland A's philosophy of 2 walks and a 3-run home run, and I think the Yankees fell trapped to that as well, not teaching the basics of baseball, the fundamentals like bunting, and now you're starting to see a lot of teams bring that back in the game, bring speed back into the game, and Boone mentioned that he would like to see the players not only up on the major league level execute that better, but also as they develop the players down in the minors, start teaching it down there, so when they come up here, they could successfully lay down a bunt. You're not just relying on someone like kind of Falefa is really the only one competent person that could lay down a bunt on this team. Now he's not even with the team anymore, but this goes to show they don't really do it. Steinbrenner acknowledged that as well, so that's something they want to get involved with, and Boone wants to be involved with as well. Now, as for Boone himself, supposedly Steinbrenner kind of took a little advice from a bit of committee of Yankee advisors, one of them being Omar Minaya, as well as former Yankees who kind of work with the organization, Andy Pettit, Nick Swisher, and kind of got their opinion on it. And they all felt that really wasn't Boone's fault. Boone's a good manager, and he should be back for 2024. So the consensus is that Boone, yes, will be back as Yankee manager for 2024. They felt just it was more the team, and maybe more the team philosophy, sort of like that. Not really exactly Boone himself. So, and I kind of agree. I don't know how much world of difference a manager makes, but it does seem that the players like Boone. He does seem to have the clubhouse there, has his back, and I think they don't, they play for the guy. I don't think they, quit on him or anything like that there. So again, I have no problem Boone coming back for 2024. Now, as for Cashman, it was a little bit more defiant. Now, his platform, he was out in Scottsdale, Arizona for the beginning of the winter meetings, and he was a little more defiant. He actually drops a couple of curses, an F-bomb one time and something else, calling some of the stuff that's been said about this team, BS. Of course, he said the full word, not this word's BS, but a little bit more defiant. I've never really seen him that aggressive, and kind of had the shades on the whole time, almost being a little dismissive and kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of a different look for Cashman. I don't know, I've never really seen him in that way. But of course, as he was going to mention that it was going to be, the injuries to mainly Judge, and saying how, look, we had some injuries to our key players, and whoever you could bring in is never going to be good as that starting player, which, yes, it's true, but no one wants to hear that excuse there, because even when Judge was down, you still had Stanton, you still had DJ, you still had a relatively soft schedule. I mean, there was no reason them to lose as many games as they did, but you knew Cashman was going to throw that one out there. And as for the analytics itself, he kind of pointed out that, it is kind of ridiculous that people are kind of always focusing on that, and he actually referenced that it's been the same people, the same staff, going back a couple of years. So when the Yankees were doing well, such as last year when they won 99 games, no one had a problem with the analytics, but and which is the same people. But this season, when the season didn't go well, now people want to point it out. But he did mention that the Yankees have relatively, compared to other baseball teams, a very small analytical team and focus more on scouting and player development than actual analytics. So, you kind of want to point that out there. Other than that, he just basically mentioned that, he kind of pointed to that and some of these trades that just, even if they didn't work out, but at least he made the trade in terms of he's trying something. You bring in someone like, Montas and he gets hurt like that, but, it's better than trying something versus like trying nothing there. So he kind of defended himself that way a little bit. But again, a little bit of a defiant Cashman. Steinbrenner was more humble, asking for forgiveness and stuff like that. Cashman was kind of in your face, like, well, stuff happens. What do you want to do? And this, kind of a little cold in that regard there. So kind of a little contrast between the two there. So other than that, nothing major. Again, announcing whether, who they want to go after, or, a bunch of Yankees declared free agency, which ones they'd be interested in bringing back. So just overall high-level stuff. But I would say out of, both of them, the most interesting thing is admitting that, yes, they should get back into fundamentals like the bunting and kind of developing that. Because, the Yankees kind of left a lot of opportunities on the table. If they could have had people that lay down a bunt, I mean, it just creates more havoc on the bases. It forces the defense to make a throw, and maybe get an errant throw, and then someone comes around to score. So hopefully that's something that the Yankees, do bring back as they kind of overhaul the organization, the way they go about things there. So that's the episode. Nothing too much there. So, we'll get a lot more as going on. I'm sure, Cashman's going to have more briefers and have some more questions. And, maybe we'll get to specifics such as players like Yamamoto or Soto and stuff like that, who they'd be interested in coming in. We'll cover that all as that comes up. So make sure, again, subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, as well as go to the YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to it as well. There's some crossover, but there's things there you can't get here and stuff here you may not get there. So why not get it all? Subscribe to everything. It's free. Why not? Catch you next time.